Hello, charlatan. I see the magic doesn't answer to you, even though you beg for it so desperately. You know there is another way to gain magic, but this type doesn't come without a price. It could take years off of your life, but I've seen it take way more than that. I heard about the children within the kingdom. They're disappearing, and it seems that the demon king is staring. If he rises, his hunger for souls will bring this world down to its knees. The question is now, charlatan, are you willing to pay the price for the magic to stop him?
Hello everyone, it's Seji, and today I will be talking about Kingdom of Souls by Rena Barron. Now before I start, I have to say that this book has a lot of trigger warnings, so I have left them all in the description box below, and if I forget any, I will make sure to update that list. Either way, let's just jump into it. Kingdom of Souls follows the story of Ara, who comes from two families of powerful witch doctors. Ara yearns for magic of her own, but each year when she tries to call upon her ancestral powers, she is met with no answer. Ara slowly becomes more desperate and ashamed about her lack of magic. And at the same time, her ambitious mother watches with growing disapproval. There is only one thing that Ara hasn't tried yet, and that is trading years of her life for scraps of magic. This option, of course, is out of question. That is until children within the kingdom start disappearing. Ara is determined to help and starts searching for the culprit. This is when she uncovers something much worse. The long imprisoned demon king is steering. This story is super dark and had so many unexpected turns. I loved it so much. The world building is great, and at the start of the story you get introduced to the kingdom as well as the tribal lands. One thing I really liked was how the tribes had such distinct characteristics. Also, over the course of the story you get to know more about the different types of magic that exist, such as mind reading, healing, foresight, and I just thought that was really awesome. My favorite part of the world building was definitely the lore of the Orisha. I've always loved reading about mythology, and it's just amazing to now have the opportunity to read stories that are inspired by African gods. There's this passage where Ara walks through the Hall of Orishas. The hall is home to the statues of the Orishas who survived the war with the Demon King. They molded their own images out of stardust darker than the darkest night. It's hard to look straight at them or stare too long, for their figures begin to blur around the edges. When I was younger, Sukha, Hassana, and I used to make a game of it. Who could stare the longest? I won once, if you can call it winning. I stared so long that the darkness around Essis, the sky god's statue, bled into my eyes and left me blind for half a bell. Sukha ran to get my mother, who sent his uncle in her stead. I wasn't the first child to tempt fate and pay the price. I don't repeat my mistake now. I mean, these statues are made out of stardust. That is so cool. Just reading that scene just literally gave me chills. But yeah, there were high stakes as well. The entire storyline was just so unpredictable. There were times that I was really just sweating my ass off. Because in the end, all bets are off. No one is safe. It feels like anyone could die at any single moment. So there was always this certain amount of tension that I felt whilst reading the story. I also loved the depiction of strong black women and also the diversity in that. For instance, Ara herself is very fiery and fierce. And then you have her grandmother, who is the chieftain of the tribal lands. She is incredibly powerful, but she also has this warm and motherly quality to her. And then on the complete other side of the spectrum, you have Ara's mother, who is astonishingly cold. She is literally someone who could strike fear in one's heart just simply by looking at them. There is this certain amount of respect that her presence demands, and even though I didn't really like her, I still thought that was pretty badass. My favorite passages were definitely the ones in which the Orishas were talking. I loved getting to know them, and I felt that those passages really helped integrate them into the story. They also kind of reminded me of one of my favorite fantasy series, namely The Mirror Visitor by Christelle Dabos. Those books also have what they call fragments, which sort of provides you with insights on the gods. I don't know exactly why, but I just really enjoyed that type of structure. And then my favorite relationship was that of Aura and her father. There's just something about a super caring and loving father that just makes me want to cry. I just love it so much. Aura's father always liked to tell her stories, and there's one that he shares in the book that, oh my gosh, that really hit me in the feels. Also, all of the characters were just so good. Nothing in this book felt black or white. There were many times where I found myself even sympathizing with the villains, which is something I felt was very interesting because it made the characters feel so much more real. Kingdom of Souls is one of the first books that I ever got to read that depicted my culture in such a fantastical way, and that is something very special, and I don't even know whether I can describe how much that means to me. So yeah, this will be a book that I know for sure I will always be able to look back to and have fond memories of reading. So yeah, I'm very excited for the sequel, which comes out in September. If you haven't read the book, you should. So yeah, that's everything I had to say with regards to Kingdom of Souls. Thank you very much for watching. Also, I just want to give a huge and heartfelt shout out to Rina herself, who sent me the book after a whole debacle of trying my best to get my hands on it. So yeah, thank you so much, Rina. It really meant and still means so much to me. But yes, as I was saying, thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. A huge thank you to Klavek, Chris, Diane, Jen, Nikolai and Tara for supporting me over on Patreon.